What's up, guys? Let's go and talk about Photon Hypernova, the brand new Yu-Gi-Oh set. Is it actually worth buying? So starting right off, let's go ahead and go over the base prices of some of these. Keep in mind, we're talking about this and things can change over time, but as of right now, we are super close to the release, so prices have basically settled down a little bit. So starting right off at about like $75-ish per box, depending on where you get it. That's kind of like the base price point. So what's actually in here that's worth money? Well, of course, the collector rares are going to be relevant in every single set, but there isn't going to be a collector's rare right here. There's like an $800 collector rare. There are certain collector rares cards that would maintain their value. Let's say they reprinted like Maxi as a collector's rare versus certain things that are very specific to a archetype. But the one card that does stick out that's not for Cashiers, because this whole set is literally Cashiers at the end of the day. There is like an Ice Blade Dragon that might hold a little bit of value, but for the most part, I would say this set will not have a card that's going to see play throughout like the next 10 years of Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, for example, certain cards like, you know, Maxi, Effect Veiler, Ash Blossom, those cards will still probably see play years and years later down the line, where it doesn't really have that in terms of the collector's rare. But let's go ahead and talk about the Cashiers, because that's what everyone wants to build. The deck is very expensive. It actually went up in price from like the original first starting set prices of the pre-release prices. So if you guys haven't seen the deck, definitely check it out. It's going to be a deck that you're going to have to deal with. There are so many people that are interested in building that, and that's simply why it's so expensive, because it literally locks your opponent down out of being even able to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Because they cannot summon any monsters. Now, is it super consistent to do that? It's pretty consistent, but to lock out all 10 zones, all spell and trap and monster zones, it's pretty difficult to do that, and it's unrealistic. However, the deck is not just all hype. A lot of people, I've seen some people in comments say, this deck isn't even good. It's like, if literally they lock out all your monster zones, bro, come on, you're not really playing that. It's like, just open up with Nibiru every single game and you win. Like, it's like, okay. Of course, there's always outs of certain things, but there's a reason why this deck is like over $1,000 just for the pre-sale as well as the core set cards. That's not even including the entirety of the deck. But this deck is going to be the one reason why you even purchased Photon Hypernova in the first place. There is a card that I do want to go over, which is actually pretty cool. But starting out right off, in terms of the secret rares, these are usually considered the money cards out of any set. There's 10 secret rares here. You guys can see which ones actually hold value. So 3 out of the 10 actually can hold value. If you open up any of these 3, as long as you pull at least one, which is actually not that bad. A Rise Heart is sitting at about 30 bucks, but the rest of them, if you pull it a Rise Heart and pretty good ultra rares, you can kind of make your money back. But for the most part, if you're going to be able to pay off your booster box, because some sets it's pretty high chance, and this one is one of like the better ones, I would say, but it's still at the end of the day Cashier. There's a really cool card called Triple Tactics Thrust that is going to be a sought after card, and this card will probably see some play in a lot of different decks. So what this card does is it makes it so if your opponent activates a monster effect during this turn, you get to set any normal spell or trap from your deck, which can automatically be a win condition on its own. You could just be like, okay, I throw out basically a floodgate, you can't play, right? If you're going first and your opponent just activates a monster effects. But if your opponent actually has a monster controlled, that set card can be activated this turn. So yeah, this is a pretty serious card for a lot of different archetypes. But for the most part, the other 2 cards that if you pull, that you'll make your money back with, yeah, you're gonna need the Kashtira cards, which is basically both the Kashtira Theosis over here and the Pressured Planet Wrathsloth over here. So both these, at the end of the day, they're Kashtira cards. This one lets you add a Kashtira monster, and the other one over here targets one, then you get special one, another one with a different attribute. The Cashiers are insanely consistent, but you need those cards, and just with those cards alone, at about $100 each, that's already like $600. Again, that's why the deck is very expensive. You're seeing all of these like $1,000 deck profiles, and that's just for like the core. But the rest of the cards, again, they're not really holding value at all. So it's basically you pull these 3 or you go minus most of the time. Okay, let's be honest. But other than that, there are some ultra rares, and guess what? Ultra rares are worth money. That's right, the Kashtiras. I mean, they got it in the name. It's the cash. So basically, these are the pre-order prices, but you got to be pulling basically both of these. There's also the Labyrinth archetype. There's also the new Dogmatika stuff. I actually think it's really good. We actually just covered some gameplay recently on the channel of the Dogmatika variants. There's a lot of really good BIST stuff in here too, and I'll go over that in a second. But for the most part, in terms of money values, because that's what, you know, the point of is it worth buying, again, it just comes down to the Cashiers. Now, there's basically four, maybe 5 like decent cards. Like the rest of the stuff is just not going to hold its value. It's like we're on the cents, we're in the dollars, a couple bucks. But I guess if you really pull like 2 of these, I mean, that's already like $35 right there. And then if you pull like just even the Arise Heart, which is the $30-ish secret rare, then you'll be good to go, and you can basically get the rest of the cards for free. So it's actually not that bad of a set. If we look at 3 out of 10 cards are good, and you get 2 secret rares per box, and your chance at getting a collector's rare. This is one of the better sets in Yu-Gi-Oh, honestly, but again, it's only for the Cashiers. As long as this deck doesn't get hit anytime soon, which we just got the announcement of the ban list, tier elements are going to be very, very difficult to play. So a lot of people that are playing like the top tier best decks, they're going to be moving on to this. So it's going to be a very sought after deck at the end of the day. But going over the super rares right now, there really isn't a super rare that is really worth anything. I mean, this is sorted from high to low, and like at the moment, not even any of them are $1. However, Albizoa is very good, and I want to give a shout out to Albizoa. This is the card that lets you destroy your opponent's extra deck. Basically, they cut their extra deck in half turn 1. You get to cut your opponent's extra deck in half turn 1, or their entire hand. You just lose it, but they're going to select the other option. But it's really good. If you guys haven't seen it, I'll be dropping you guys some gameplay over here, and you guys will see like how good this can be turn 1. It is absolutely insane. That's the Albizoa. Be on the lookout for this card, because you guys will need to know how to play up against it. But other than that card, there isn't like there is the Gishkis. I do have gameplay of the Gishkis as well. I actually think the Gishkis are pretty dang good as well. If you're looking for a cheap archetype though, you can definitely check out the Gishkis, and I would say just buy the singles. Unless you're interested in Cashiers, I say this is a hard skip. A very, very hard skip. But Cashiers are going to be one of the best decks. Unless you're just looking to maybe profit. Your chances of 3 out of 10, it's not that bad. Just because I know some people, it's like, okay, you know, your chances to go minus are, you know, not that bad. I'm just going to go and open up a set, even if I'm not trying to purchase it, because, you know, we all love opening packs here, right? It's that excitement. Now, in terms of the commons, there is a few commons that I want to give a shout out to that I think are actually really good. There's actually some RNG meme cards, because I know some people like to build some troll decks, so like a couple of aces. There's a couple meme cards here. But Bisbal Drake is actually one of the best commons in this, and it's only $1. The rest of the, like, look at the rest. They're all under 20 cents, with the exception of Bisbal Drake. Bisbal Drake is actually so amazing. So what it does, I need to go over the full effect, because you guys got to be ready for this card. It's not going to be a very expensive card. I mean, it's the most expensive common though, but you get to target a light or dark monster in either graveyard, so that's both. That is huge, right? And then you get to special summon this card from your hand, and this is a quick effect if your opponent controls a monster. So basically, if your opponent is trying to set up I'm just gonna think of like zombies or just any archetype that needs certain cards, they toss them in the graveyard for like later use, right? Or even like Salomon Great, you could just be like, okay, I'm going to activate this. Although Salomon Great, you probably have limited targets because it has to be light or dark, but you get the idea. Decks that use stuff out of the graveyard, right? You're able to quick effect remove that card, and then on top of that, if your opponent special summons a Ritual, Fusion, Synchro, and or Link monsters, except during the damage step, you can attribute another light or dark monster, then target one of those special monsters and banish it. Not even for like the end of the turn, it's just banished. So this is why this card is so good. It actually has pretty decent stats as well. It is a level 6, so you might be able to use some plays with it later, because we just got the announcement of the brand new dinosaurs, which are all level 6, and they still let you go for, I think it's like dragon and like worms and stuff. That it all works with this, and this card is an easy 100% side deck card, if not main deck, for a lot of different archetypes. So it's a really good extension for combos and disruptions. I mean, it already has easy ability to get rid of your opponent's like, you know, combo plays, and it gives you an additional like, oh, you summon this, okay, I'm gonna get rid of it. So it's a fantastic card. Plus, tributing that card if you're playing a certain deck that can benefit off of if this card is tributed, then yeah, this card is just so amazing for many reasons. If you're into an anti-meta, because I know that, you know, I like that archetype. Well, it's not really an archetype. Anti-meta was just anti-meta, but it's pretty good. I like this card a lot. If you combo Fierce Tiger Monghu in combination with Tiger King Winghu, what you can do is, it's a pretty good effect. So it's all the monsters lose 500 attack, and then once per turn during your main phase, you can destroy all monsters on the field with less attack than this card. So basically, anything under 2300, you get to just instantly pop. And on top of that, everything reduces its stats. And that does combo with Tiger King Winghu. I actually built the deck around it, so this is kind of one of the cards I just want to highlight for the anti-meta players out there, because we haven't really gotten to see that much anti-meta. I know it was way more popular back in like the Blackwing Lightsworn days, and even a little bit after like Glad Beast. A lot of people just played anti-meta, Doom Caliber, Control, but those decks kind of phased out, where this card is a lot faster, because Doom Cal, it kind of just usually goes neutral. It doesn't really go plus, right? But this card is fantastic. It allows you to basically have both of these up on the board, and if you have both of these on the board with like Ties of Brethren, you can instantly win against your opponent. So if you want to build that, that's something there too. Again, it's not like a really expensive card, but I'm just trying to highlight other like decks that you can play out of this that may have emerged, you know, for the new stuff. And I'll throw some Gishki gameplay in the pinned comment if you guys want to check out Gishki's. It's good, but it's like cheap. If we look at any of the Gishki cards from this set, it's really cheap here. How do we go to search? Can we search by this set? Oh, you know what? It's not gonna be, wait, this is to find the set. But you guys get the idea. Gishki's, be on the lookout for it. It's not that bad. So again, what it comes down to is it's those 3 cards. If you pull any of those 3 cards, yeah, you're going plus for the most part, and it's not that bad. You have 3 out of 10 chances because there's 10 secret rares total. But anyways, that's going to go wrap it up for the video. You guys can let me know your thoughts down below. Are you going to be actually purchasing Photon Hypernova? Let me know down below. But thanks for tuning in. If you guys enjoyed it, drop a like on it. If you do here, hit subscribe, turn that bell so you don't miss out on more Yu-Gi-Oh set analysis and like kind of like market, you know, videos. But I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a good one, and I'm signing out. Peace.